Hi everyone. Today is October the 15th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band. I'm here in Finland, and I've been offline for about a week, and so good to be back. We've got price action that's holding fairly steady as we start with the ES. On the daily formation, we can see that we built in a pretty solid value event, and then we've got ourselves a little bit of a breakout. And so we're looking to see what happens today. Now, yesterday had a pretty thin volume, and although we don't look at volume that much, and the fact that this is happening is concerning to me, right? And by that I mean the volume event here. Now we can see that volume can go down for a long time. Prices can continue to go up. So that's not saying much, but what it does tell me is, listen, we've got some things that we need to pay attention to in general. We either want to see a blow off top and then a reversion to fill in the formation, or a pullback and then a continuation to the upside. We are looking at several moving averages here. This is the VWAP. And then these two hulls, everything's upside. So buying the dip is critical for staying on the right side of the trade. And so my thought is, why not choose old resistance, which is the high of the prior day. And I have that showing as 58.68, right? So pullback, buy zone. Now let's go to the 1 hour chart. The value area from yesterday, it is shifting. It continues to move up. Value area absolutely continues to move up. And so as we take a look at this motion, we can see we've got a little bit of a bimodal distribution in the value area, which I find to be quite unusual. There's a low volume node right here at the midline of the value area high-low. Doesn't say much of anything, especially as the value area is widening to the upside. Still a lot of dip buying, and this is the opening range candle, and this is the Europe open candle. And certainly if we can hold this edge here at 59.09, we'll go to 59.11, and the range expansion gives us 59.35 as our next line up. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Pullbacks are buy zones. We're getting a little bit of an inflection event. The 4 a.m. low, 4 a.m. Eastern low, looking like a buy area. If we're under a hull, it tells us a recent high is in until it breaches that high. And trend, of course, is going to be the thing that you want to watch, right? Let me see if I think I might want to change the size. Ooh, that hull's already a 50. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. All right, let's get to the next one. Let's look at the NQ. Everybody talking about how strong everything looks, and it does look strong. That is most certainly the case. If we take a look at this range, value area high-low in the NQ, we're looking at the same sort of thing. We're inside of yesterday's candlestick, but the breach of it should easily send us to 20,778. Yesterday, you might recall that I put up some images for you, those of us in the private Discord or on the Benzinga Pro platform. You'll notice that I had some images that put up about 20,660 as that high zone, and we came in just a little bit higher than that and then turned right around and gave it all back. I was on Top Step TV, took a short a little bit early, but you might notice that taking the counter trend trade, I took the MNQ, and that allowed me to stay in the trade where everyone else had gotten stopped out. Because I was in the MNQ, I got to add back, and then actually closed it right where I wanted to at the 600 area. Now, take a look. Value area. I drew this 2 hours ago, and it is continuing to widen. I find that to be incredibly interesting. Yeah, value area continues to widen as price pressure holds. Now notice for the NQ, we've got the opening range. Midnight, which we normally draw, is sitting right inside of this pocket. And look, we already tested it. We came right back up and tested it. Here was the 4 a.m. Ooh, I drew that candle wrong. That's 3 a.m. Let's move it here. 4 a.m. gave us the low into the value area and the bounce higher. So what does this tell me? Well, it tells me that I've got a floor in here, but I also have a ceiling up here. So let's see how we do at the 650 zone. And if we hold it, any pullbacks into the region could be another breakout, and that is 680 and then 20,713. That's what I'm seeing. Now, what if this chart turns around? Well, here's what'll happen. It'll come into the 4 a.m. low and it'll break it. I just don't see that happening at this juncture. There's too much positive inflow into that area. We already looked at the daily, yes. Well, let's look at the YM. All right, YM. Sorry, got the hiccups. Clear breakaway formation. 43,000 support line. Sorry, I have no idea. I have not been drinking, I promise. Except for water. Sorry about that. This time zone is really making me loopy. So now here we are, extending the range. This could easily be a measured move in itself. Let's do this. Let's see what this measured move might look like. We'll take it all the way to the base of it, and then we'll clone it, and then move it up, and we're already at 2x, right? And so if it comes down and holds it, or comes into the halfway spot at 43,005, we've got ourselves another long. I mean, this is just incredible bullish activity in my mind. All right, so here we are, super thin, low volume node. So I expected to fade. This is yesterday's group of candlesticks that we watched, the 1800 and 0400 in terms of time. The value areas continue to widen. I did this a couple hours ago, so it's very, very interesting. And so now we're watching a fade very likely back into the value area easily. My thought would be it would be very nice if it could give it a good old fade all the way down. What are we looking at here, though? All the others are sitting above their 4-hour opening zone. That's Europe. These guys are not. So this is not in a buying formation as yet, because it's underneath both of the hull moving averages, and it's got negative drift all over it. This could easily be a mean reversion. All right, and United Healthcare sort of pulled in, I don't know, I don't think they did all that great. Let me look, just segue here. Yeah, they had a rough spot, and yeah, that's, I think that's going to weigh on the Dow pretty significantly. All right, back to business. Let's get to SPY. Okay, so SPY has a 8 o'clock candlestick. I think it's still forming. The 4 a.m. candlestick, that's the opening range. You know, I like to look at the 8 to 9 candle, particularly. That's the one that tells me about motion in the market, right? All right, so here is the 4 a.m. candlestick. It breaks out of that, the 8 to 9. And so look at our 8 to 9. It's going to fill up here. Just draw it for yourselves and realize that if we break that, we've got upside pressure. Notice the slope of this hull. It's very bullish. So dips are going to be buy zones. They absolutely are going to be buy zones here. And so notice we've got negative divergence for price action, but trend is always in charge. So the negative divergence here relative to trend says buy the dip. Where could we go? 586. potentially, but this low volume node tells me that easily we could come in and start filling that out. Okay? Let's take a look at the cues. Let's see if this one's changed. Nope, this one is just the same. The value area has not shifted for the SPY or, for the cues. And so what are we looking at? We're above the VWAP. We're above the hull that's very tight, and we are underneath an upward sloping 50 hull. And so that just tells you buy the dip. It tells you a recent high has been made, but you buy the dip, and we've got 496.60. Now, if we have our 4 a.m. candlestick, we've already breached it. That means, we're looking for higher prices. There is this 8 o'clock candlestick. If it breaks above that zone, easily they're going after 500 and then potentially 503. So buy the dip across the board. Just wait for the dip. And if you decide you're going to short, just turn around and flip long if it breaks your high, and watch out for the price action pulling back on you. Okay, that's it for me. I'm still trying to get into the groove and get back to business. I appreciate all of you who have reached out to me over my mom. It was very kind. So many of you, so kind to me, and I appreciate it so much. It's lifted my heart tremendously. All right, hope you have a good day, and look for me in the streams.